This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie. Now I'm delighted to be joined by Kilkerrin Clonberne ladies football manager Willie Ward. Willie, it's safe to say when it comes to All-Ireland semi-finals, you're fairly used to them at this stage now?
We are indeed, yes. And I suppose the one thing that's new about this one is we're at home again for the first time in 4 years, which is a bit different, but nice as well at the same time. But yeah, we're well used to those All-Ireland semi-finals. All right.
How special is it being at home this weekend?
I think it is. This time we're at home as All-Ireland champions for the first time. The last time we were at home, we hadn't won. It was the year we won the first one, all right, but we weren't champions that time. Now we're at home as champions. Trying to get back to the final again. I think for the people of the community and the parishes, it will be a big occasion, and I expect that there'll be a big crowd out. I know there's a huge amount of work going on around. In preparation for it, around the pitch and the environment and putting up flags, bunting and everything, for the team and that. So, yeah, the whole community is making a great effort for this occasion. So I do expect it will be a great occasion in the club and in the parishes.
Just looking at it, Willie, since the Connacht final, how have preparations and training and everything gone?
Yeah, well, we had a 3-week break since the Connacht final, so that was good because we did have a weekend, where we could get a good lot of training done, and try to work on some things we'd be hoping to improve on. Like we'd always be looking, at the things that we can do better before every match, and so before we had a bit of time, then we turned our attention a bit to Cumber themselves and how we'd approach that game. So all in all, the 3 weeks was good. We didn't really play much football in it, so we just hope that we won't be rusty when we turn out to play them. But it's much the same for them as well. They had the 3-week break as well, so it's the same for both of us. And I suppose on the day, it's whoever gets their game going the best will come out on top.
I know the last few weeks you've had a couple of different players away travelling.
We had, yes, yeah, we were without. Yeah, we were without the twins for a few days. They were in Bangkok with the LGFA and Olivia Dibley is in Uganda at the minute. So I mean that does. It does. You would like to have everyone there, but they're 3 very mature people, and they would have. Made sure to keep up their fitness themselves, no matter where they were, so they would be doing their own bit of training in the gym and so forth. So we had the twins back last night, so they're back and they're back training and they're fine. So we're hoping Olivia will be here in the next day or two, and yeah, she'll be fine as well.
You expect to have everyone, Willie, at the weekend?
Everyone that we had the last day, yeah. Again, Eilish Morrissey is still out. Of course, she hasn't been able to get back anywhere near because it's been difficult for her now. Really difficult recovery for her, and and it's still ongoing. But we're used to being without her, even though she's a fantastic player that you'd love to have, especially in these occasions. But everyone else is fine. Everyone that played and could play, and everyone that we might want to use the next day, they're all fit and well, and ready to go.
You've probably asked this question so many times, Willie, but what keeps this hunger and this team going? Obviously, 8 Connacht titles and going for the 5th All-Ireland in a row.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of a culture within the team. Is they just want to keep winning. I think the hunger is the same among them all. the winning the games and preparing and putting everything they have into winning games. There seems to be the culture within the group, and the leadership we have in the group, drags that on as well. Not alone in our captain and Louise, but Nicola and Hannah Noon, Sarah Gormley, Olivia Dibley. There's a great, it's a great leadership group there that have a great attitude and high standards for everyone. And they seem to just love trying to be better all the time, trying to do things better. How it comes to all of them together, I don't know. It's just there, but they often reference 2019, the final we lost by a point, as something they don't want to experience again. So they do everything in their power to avoid that happening again.
Do you begin to appreciate, Willie, at all, or think about what you've achieved, I suppose, nearly in the last decade?
Well, we just keep going. Really, for us as a management and my team here, it's really never. We always have the next game to look forward to. And it's always what's ahead of us is what we're looking at. And I don't think the players really look back. They still look forward. And that's it. I think their mentality is, we've only got a limited amount of time and we're going to make the best of it, and there'll be time enough for looking back when it's all over, and that could be any time as well, and we've said the same thing. When it's all over, we'll have loads of time for looking back. And I think that's the attitude of the team as well as the players.
It really is special times, though, Willie, for the club, and there are probably even occasions you can't really take for granted, even with this weekend, and even, I suppose, looking on an overall context as well of Nicola and Olivia picking up All-Stars this year as well.
Oh yeah, that was another great a great thing for the club. That we're now the club with the most All-Stars in the county. Again, we had 2 again this year, same as last year. So that's great. But there's so many other players that are very, that are at that standard, and some of them not even at their best yet, and understand what it's like, what the standards are like, So I think, when now Olivia and Nicola are in the more mature side of the team, you have some great young players coming up, like Eve Dibley and Hannah, even Noon, that are they're players of that standard, and they will be that standard in the future, as well. So yeah, it's great to have them. It's great for the club. Great, great achievement for them and for the club as well.
Obviously, going for 5 All-Irelands in a row this year, Willie, is it something you've referenced since the start of the year?
No, we're not even talking about it now. We're only talking about Cumra, and there'll be no 5 if we don't get beyond and get over Cumra on Sunday, and that's the at the beginning of the year and beginning of every year, we know what the count is, but we also know that each step has to be taken. Each game has to be taken on its own merits, and each game has to be won, and each game has to be prepared for seriously. So we never look beyond the next game on the horizon, and all our preparation goes into the next game we have to play always. And right now, the only thing in our minds is come around Sunday and preparing for them.
Cumra Rangers, Willie, obviously your opponents this weekend from Waterford. What have you made of them so far, and have you been able to, I suppose, look at them over the last few weeks?
Yeah, I think hard work and persistence got them where they are. They spent a long time trying to beat Ballymacarbery, and I suppose there was probably days that they should have beaten them before they actually did. But now that they've gone over them, they've become the dominant team in Waterford. Last year they got to the Munster final after winning the first county title, and this year they won the Munster title, and they beat Cork and Kerry and Clare. So they're a really strong, persistent team that have been improving gradually, and I think they'll be a fairly troublesome opponents for us now. Like, and if we're not on our game, if we don't get things right, and if we don't work hard, and if we don't keep our standards up, if there's any slip in our standards, we'll pay for it. Because they're well capable of taking advantage of situations, and they've done that in every game. Like the last game in the Munster final, Southern Gales, they had their chances early on, they didn't take them, and then Cumber Rangers made them pay for that then later when they got their turn. So that's the kind of thing they're able to take advantage of. Teams not taking their opportunities or switching off or giving them space to build up attacks. They will take full advantage of. They're a clever team, like an experienced enough and a very strong, very good manager as well. That is very experienced and seems to have a great rapport with the team. So all in all, they're formidable, and you never get anything soft coming out of Munster, as well, because it's so competitive there as well.
What would it mean then, Willie, to, I suppose, get back to Croke Park and get back to another All-Ireland final?
Oh yeah, that's the objective, just to win, to get there again. We've had that experience 3 times in Croke Park and once in Bour, and I mean, there's nothing to beat the experience of going to Croke Park and being part of a day like that. For the players and the management and the community, it is a wonderful occasion for when you bring 30 of your own footballers from your own community, that are to Croke Park. It is the ultimate for any player, and I think it's special for club players because everyone that's around you is people you've grown up with, trained with and played with all your life, probably since they were 6 years old, and they all go out there, run out in Croke Park together. It's a fantastic occasion.
It feels like, in an overall context, Willie, with yourselves involved this weekend, Caltra, Menlough, Skehana involved as well, it's a terrific weekend for Galway ladies football.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I did say that before. That we also wish all the best to Caltra and Menlough. They're very close neighbours of us, and Caltra, every time we've come through Caltra after winning on All-Ireland, Caltra have been out on fires lit for us. From Castle Blakeney down to Menlough. So they're great football people and great appreciators of people that do win, and I think their performance this year has been exceptional as well. Starting the year missing probably 2 of their best players, and then to get where they've done has been an amazing achievement. And Menlough the same as well, building a young team. Really young team, but very good management, good coaching, and a team that will be around for a long time. We wish them both the very best as well. Tough travelling away for both of them. It's a long old trip for them, but hopefully they will organise it well, and they'll get everything they need to be done for them, and that they'll be able to give it their best on the day. And I know both of them are capable of winning as well. It would be a great All-Ireland weekend if we had the 3 Galway teams in it.
So in part 2 of the show, I'm now delighted to be joined by Caltra selector Michael Henley to look ahead to their All-Ireland semi-final this weekend. Michael, how are preparations going ahead to the All-Ireland semi-final?
Yeah, going well. I suppose an exciting week for us in the build-up to such a big game. Everything has gone well with preparations over the last few weeks, thankfully. So looking forward to Sunday now, and looking forward to getting on the road to Drogheda.
The year so far, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I suppose we started the year in Division 1 in the league, which was super preparation for us. For the intermediate championship. We were probably very disappointed this time last year to be relegated from the senior championship. So I guess we all came back at the start of the year with the one goal to get back to senior football. So look, group stages went well. We did draw the first day out against Uachtarard, but backed that up with away wins against Barna and St. Furzy's. and then had a home semi-final against Letchermore, and then obviously the big one against June Cartoon in the county final. So look, thankfully everything went our way. We got a bit of a rub of the green along the way, but yeah, got the county title under the belt, you know.
It's fair to say you've went deep into your squad this year. You've had key players out at various stages of the year. Is that the most satisfying part of it?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, we had um, an awful lot of bad luck this year with injuries, you know, with Aoife Kelly and Marianne Jordan and Molly Mulrine, all suffered long-term injuries, I guess, early enough in the year. Um, they're obviously three big players for us, three girls that were on the Galway squad when they got to the All Ireland final in 2024. So to lose players of the caliber of those is never an easy thing. But yeah, certainly everyone in the squad has stepped up. They've made our jobs easier in a way where girls have stepped up into the roles, and once they've got that jersey, they've hung on to it. They haven't wanted to let go. Again, having said that, there's super competition for places in the squad, and even with all the injuries, we've plenty of headaches trying to pick teams over the last number of weeks.
Any chance of any of those three players being back on the pitch this weekend?
No, no, they're longer term. It'll be next year before the girls are back. Eve and Marianne obviously have ACLs done. They're well on their way to recovery after surgery and stuff like that. But yeah, still going to be a 2026 timeline. Molly Mulrine then is more of a back injury, but again, it's a longer term one. So yeah, we've been unlucky again with Alicia Kerwin, another player who'd be thereabouts for our starting team. Did an ACL in the first round of the Camogie Championship this year, so that wasn't ideal. And Denise Kelly, obviously our captain, has missed the last couple of games, but she's back training and pushing hard to try and be in the reckoning for the next day.
Has it been important then to keep those players involved in the background?
Absolutely. Look, these are girls with immense experience from a footballing point of view, and look, the girls are doing water for us or being involved wherever they can, and look, they give great advice to the younger girls, particularly. We've a good cohort of the squad that just came out of minor last year, and we're kind of thrown into the deep end at times this year. So it's great to have that experience, and for those younger girls to bounce things off those injured girls. They're as much as part of the squad as anyone else.
Obviously, then looking at the Connacht Championship for yourselves, obviously looking back at that final, it's the last time you played competitive action, 3-9 to 9 points winners over St. Barry's. Would you say that was probably one of your best performances all year?
Funnily enough, I wouldn't. It was great to get over the line and be crowned Connacht Championship champions. But I think when we sat back and reviewed the game in the days after, there was certain aspects of the game which we weren't really happy about. Barry's are an excellent team. They give us plenty of it on the day. But look, I think having the 3 week break from that Connacht Championship win to this Sunday has given us time to work on some of the things where we felt we needed to improve from the last day. I think the score last day probably flattered us a little bit. We got goals at the right times in the game, and we got a couple of scores late, which probably made the scoreline look a little bit comfortable. When in reality it was a much tighter game than that.
St. Feckin's, obviously your opponents from Loud. Were you able to, I suppose, look at their All Ireland quarterfinal then?
Yeah, we got to have a spin up to Drogheda last weekend. Obviously, we had 2 weeks where we were concentrating on our own preparations, and we didn't know who we were going to be meeting in the semi final. So it was a good outing for us, I suppose, last weekend to get to see them in person. We'd seen clips and bits and pieces along the way, but it's always different when you see a game in our team in person. And obviously, look, we got to see the pitch and the surroundings and stuff like that where we'll be playing. Look, yeah, St. Feckin's they're an impressive team. They've won the senior title in Louth this year, beating St. Pat's in the final. St. Pat's are an impressive team going for three in a row. So to win that alone was a great achievement for them. Not to mention their march through Leinster. I guess they've beaten Dublin, Meath, Westmeath outfits all the way along, and then showed a great resilience in the Leinster final to get over Ballinyav, Kildare after extra time. So yeah, look, we had a good look last weekend against when they were playing at Holloway Gales. Look, they're a really well drilled and composed team, very strong defensively and really well organised. And then they have a number of threats up front as well. So really balanced team overall. And look, we're going to have to bring our A game for 60 plus minutes on Sunday to hopefully get a result.
You're obviously enjoying, Michael, being involved with Peter Birch and Noel Meehan and this management team.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, Peter, I think the girls were slagging before the Connacht final that Peter has been involved for 20 years with Caltra. I don't think it's quite that long, but yeah, he's really invested in the ladies, in the Caltra Cuans ladies side of things. And obviously Noel was involved a few years ago, took a break for a couple of years, and came back in this year with us as coach. And Noel brings super experience and super knowledge of the game. He probably has, at this stage, as much knowledge of the ladies' game as he has of the men's game. So, yeah, look, it's super. There's a good dynamic there in the management team. We've brought in Damien Oss this year as well as a statsman and psychologist. Some of the girls say, but yeah, look, it's freshened things up a little bit this year, and I think we needed it after the disappointment of last year.
Emma Marini's obviously been a player that's really stepped up with crucial scores for you as well this year.
Yeah, look, Emma's had some super games for us, but she has that talent. She can turn it on any day that she goes out. But what's really impressed us as a management team is it's not the same people that are stepping up every day. We've had Saoirse Murray, Ciara Murray, Aisling, Nicole Conway. At different stages when needed, girls are stepping up and making their mark on games. So that's the most pleasing thing. We feel we've threats from all over the pitch really, and on our day, if things click, we feel we have the beating of any team out there.
How do the preparations look then this weekend? Obviously, it's quite a spin down to Drogheda.
Yeah, I suppose from a management team, it's the added organisation of logistics and stuff like that. I think the furthest we've travelled in championship this year was out to Barna. So yeah, it's a bit of a headache for us as a management team. But look, we've everything in place now for Sunday. The plan is in place there, and we're trying to take as much off the girls' plate as possible. Let them concentrate on their football and what happens inside those white lines.
Will it be an early start Sunday morning, or?
Yeah, we're going to get a bus up Sunday morning, so yeah, we're factoring in, maybe a pit stop for a half an hour on the way up, maybe in Kinnegad or somewhere, stretch the legs and maybe get a cup of coffee or whatever, and yeah, hopefully get there in plenty of time for the 1:15 throw-in. But yeah, look, it's just another factor. It's we can look at it in a way where it's a bit of an annoyance for us, but at the same time, there's nowhere else we'd rather be on Sunday.
Anna Down, obviously, at this grade, got to Croke Park last year, got to the intermediate final. Has that motivated you in one sense this year?
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I think this year especially as well has been a super year for Galway ladies football. When you see Menlough, Skehana and Kilkerrin Clonberne as well out next weekend. Obviously, yeah. Look, you look at your neighbouring clubs and clubs that you compete against, and say, look, if they can get that far, why not? We're 60 minutes away from Croke Park where we are at the minute, and yeah, look, our full focus is on Sunday. We're not looking any further ahead, but yeah, it would be nice to get over the line for Sunday and have a trip to Croke Park to look forward to.
What would that mean, I suppose, to book your place in Croke Park in 2 weeks' time?
Absolutely. Look, it'd be incredible. It's the pinnacle. It's where every team wants to be. We speak to the girls about preparing for big games over the last few weeks, and we always say to them, it's a privilege to be in this position, privilege to represent where you're from, your county, to pull on that jersey and to do it at that kind of stage would be, dream come true for many of them. I know some of the girls have. We've a lot of girls that were involved with Hasker Caltra Cuans last year, and they got all the way to an intermediate final as well. So a lot of those girls understand the build-up, the excitement, the support we get from the community. And look, we'd love to get there again. Obviously, it didn't go well for the girls last year in the Camogie, but hopefully we can get there and put things right this year, I suppose, for them.
Great stuff, Michael. Well, the very best of luck this weekend.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Now I'm delighted to be joined by Menlough Skehana ladies football manager Thomas Flynn ahead of their All-Ireland semi-final this weekend. Obviously getting closer to the big game now for you, Thomas.
Coming very close. So we're away today, Thursday, or 3 days away. Coming here.
First off, Thomas, the year as a whole, I'm sure it's been just unbelievable, has it?
It's been a fantastic year. Fantastic year for the club and fantastic year for the girls. I suppose, as I said the other day in the interview, our aim at the start of the year was to win the county final. And, things progressed from there. We got a Connacht semi-final with good success. And now we're Connacht champions heading into an All-Ireland semi-final.
I suppose if you look back at the county first, what do you think's got you over the line and I suppose got you out of Galway to start with?
I don't know. This is our first year. This is my first year with this group of girls. So, I don't know. Maybe we had younger girls coming in this year. The panel was stronger. We have 30 girls this year. And I think maybe the competition for places was maybe stronger than other years.
You picked a nice year to come in.
We'll take any year.
Yeah. And obviously, I suppose, is a relief in one sense then when you get out of Galway, and I suppose there's maybe that bit of freedom when you enter into Connacht then.
Well, it is. I suppose, look, we're thereabouts maybe 5 years. I think we're in junior football. That many years ago, they played in the intermediate county final. Come back 5 years ago, I think it was an intermediate county final. Then slipped and went back into junior. And, it was the aim for the club. We all said we had a team good enough to be playing intermediate football, to be pushing intermediate football. It's just look at those great teams. Brownie Wales, I think, bet them last year in the county semi-final. I think they've knocked them out of the group the year before. You had great teams. Glenamaddy, Williamstown. There's lots of good teams. I can name them all out. Every one of them were. Score lines wasn't an awful lot in it.
Do you feel you've changed much since you've come in, or I suppose what's got you to this stage? Do you feel?
I don't know. Look, I just says maybe we got. We're a relatively young team this year. I think maybe we got the balance right between maybe young players and experience. I think we'd say for Sunday we have 5 girls of 17 years of age. We've 1 girl that's 15 years of age. But then we've a lot of seasoned players involved. And I think maybe the mix just was right.
The excitement obviously building now for Menlough Skehana going into an All-Ireland semi-final and everything for the community and everything. What's it been like since the Connacht final?
There's great excitement in the club. I said it's our first year. The club never reached a Connacht final before, so to win a Connacht final and to be heading into an All-Ireland semi-final, it's great buzz around. It's great atmosphere. The whole club is behind it. Everyone's just waiting for Sunday, and we're just hoping that maybe a bit of luck goes our way. We get a win. We're into an All-Ireland final, which would be fantastic year.
Do you have I suppose, full squad ahead of this weekend, or are you carrying any knocks?
We have a full squad. 1 girl carrying a knock. We probably won't make a call till Saturday evening, Sunday morning. Other than that, we have a full squad.
Your opponents, Muckalee, obviously, have you been able to see much of them?
I did. I watched them last week and playing the All-Ireland quarter-final. They're a good side. They're very good. They have good footballers all around the pitch. Very organised. And I think the most thing I came back to were a very hard-working team. The work rate was tremendous. This will be no different again next Sunday.
Is logistically the biggest challenge, Thomas? You're obviously heading for Kilkenny this Sunday at 1 o'clock. I'm sure there has to be a lot of preparation that goes into this.
It is. Look at us, trying to organise buses. We said where to pull on the way up, maybe where to pull on the way down, what time we need to leave to be there on time. It's a 2.5 hour trip from the club. It is what it is, and we just have to travel to Muckalee and play them there. Caltra have to travel to Drogheda to play their intermediate semi-final. So it's thereabouts. It's just a look at the draw. That's it.
Will you travel Sunday morning? Is it?
We'll travel Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, as you mentioned, 60 minutes away from an All-Ireland final. What would it mean to the club and for yourself to, I suppose, get into that All-Ireland final in 2 weeks' time?
I suppose, it is like, we are, I know every club says, they're a small club, but we are a very small club. It's something what you dream of, reach to an All-Ireland final or have your club in an All-Ireland final. It should be fantastic, to be there. But look, going back, a lot of work has been put in the last number of years in the club, down to little kickers, with coaches, managers in, a lot of work. This really, I suppose, didn't happen, in the last 12 months. This has gone back for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. A lot of work came in and, players came in as managers and took underage teams. And, we had good success at underage in the last number of years. And I think maybe now we're reaping the rewards of that with, some of these younger players coming through.
Do you feed into the excitement and buzz around the community leading into this game?
You do a bit. Look, it will be, a lot of the girls are either in school, they're in college, or they're working. So, you don't be around the village that much. We'll say training. So, we just, they're all level-headed girls. And they are. We all know the tasks in front. We've won our Connacht final as an All-Ireland series. We've nothing won yet. So the aim is to try and, win on Sunday and reach the All-Ireland.
It's probably not something you're thinking about yet, but even playing in an All-Ireland series now, it's ideal preparation, even if you are to look at next year and I suppose getting up to that intermediate grade.
Well, it is, and it's all extra, it's extra games. We'd say if things didn't work out and you didn't even get to a county final, we'd be out of football since mid-August. Our football will be over. We're heading to training now for 6:30 this evening. Coming into the end of November. It is fantastic to be still there. Maybe not a wet wind even like this evening, but it's still great to be out, and it's extra game time, it's extra trainings. And we'll be hoping to stand going forward again for next year.
Finally, then, Thomas, what battle are you expecting? I suppose. If you're playing obviously Muckalee on Sunday from Kilkenny, obviously it's going to be a tough task going into their backyard.
Oh, it is. Look, it's probably worth 2 or 3 points. It probably is to Muckalee. A few minutes up the road, they're into their own home pitch. We'll be travelling 2.5. But Muckalee, I expect it to be a hard-fought game. That would be my honest. It's going to be a hard-fought game. They seem to be very well organised. They know their drills. They know exactly what to do. They're keeping it very simple. And they'll try and keep it a cagey game, keep it low scoring. I think if it's a wet day, it probably will be a low scoring game. We just hope to have a bit too much for them. That's our hope.
Great stuff, Thomas. Well, the very best of luck at the weekend, and hopefully we'll be chatting to you again ahead of an All-Ireland final.
Hopefully. Thanks very much.